You a lawman or an outlaw?
Today, a bit of both, I reckon.
VIII is one of my favorite episodes because suddenly it feels like you're making a completely different TV show, but in the best possible way. Bass has crossed over a boundary, both geographical, but also emotional and metaphysical in going into Esau's world.
Bass is in a period where he's trying to hold on to God, he's trying to hold on to his family, he's trying to hold on to the good things in life and not particularly succeeding, so the timing is pretty terrible. Just here to collect on what you owe me.
Well, hit your horse then. Money's inside.
I view the Sundown Ranch a little bit like Colonel Kurtz's lair in Apocalypse Now. Bass is entering a house of horrors.
We did a lot of taxidermy to insinuate there that this man's a predator. Not only is he a hunter of men, but he's also a hunter of beasts. There are artifacts from other tribes from the Civil War, either tokens or symbolic scalps that he has collected from his enemies and from his victims.
Where Esau built his ranch in Texas, there's these ancient relics of dinosaur bones. He has this massive dinosaur skull in the foyer of his house. It's really, really striking.
You see my monster upon entry?
Never spied anything like it.
It was a great opportunity thematically for Bass to enter a land of monsters, and Esau is the monster of the show.
There's no convincing Bass of Esau's way, but Esau keeps trying for sure.
I rest that will not be missed. Sadly, all black thieves and killers. I deliver their boots. Their bodies are worth far more than the difference.
Slavery ended with the Emancipation Proclamation in theory, but as Edwin Jones says, it was merely wounded, and Esau becomes a representation of that.
Esau sees himself as an alpha among betas. He recognizes Bass as a wolf.
Esau's notion that Bass and he are more alike than dissimilar bears some truth, which is very uncomfortable for Bass.
Seems starved. Oh, yes, she is.
The wolf was the ultimate representation of how Esau viewed himself, which is the alpha predator. Unlike Bass, who views all men as men, Esau views everyone as animals.
Camera set. Here we go. We expose our animals to every situation we possibly can, so they're comfortable being around the set, so nothing really phases them. And we minimize the risk of how close the interaction is between the actor and the animal. But it's all managed and choreographed, so we know exactly what's gonna happen.
Quite the brood you and Bass have been blessed with.
Jess is my partner in life. She plays Rachel Reeves, the wife of the man who enslaves my character. And it was very weird for us to be portraying those characters, having been married for nearly 25 years. I just cannot imagine that dynamic with her.
It gets really dark between Jenny and Mrs. Reeves. I mean, how could it not?
What a joy it will be to have her and your children back home.
Who knows what was going through Mrs. Reeves' mind offering that?
This is their home.
As if it was a favor, as if it was some kind of reprieve. I think it's a very, very scary proposition.
Oh, Mom! Get out, devil.
I think that is a very tense scene, but it's also a representation of the Reeves family and how they always have each other's back and are willing to do anything for each other.
Jenny just has her very strong-willed determination of protecting the home and protecting her family. And she's going to do so by any means necessary.
Time to bear those chains again, bud.
Bass is kind of backed into a corner in that scene. He realizes that there's no way that he can leave without Esau.
God damn, kid!
When we're infiltrating the Sundown Ranch, there's this certain level of extreme peril. And Billy and his literal opposite, Cheryl, carry through a mission that is slowly in development, and to see them both handle a situation as the yin and yang, but with the same objective. I think it's cool to see that.
Bass has no choice but to take Esau out. It's a really cool sequence. It goes down into mine shafts. There's a fantastic horse chase. The horses are wonderful to work with, so that was a pleasure.
Bass realizes that the notion that he and Esau are more alike than different probably becomes validated in the moment that he kills Esau.
Legend is yours, Bass Reeves. The light in the storm.
And that is a very, very difficult thing for him to come back from.
You've spent 7 episodes beforehand developing a certain familiarity to Bass's world. And when you go to Texas to find Esau, you are entering his landscape, his world, and it was a wonderful opportunity creatively to stretch the edges of the palette of our show in creating a world that really is a house of monsters.
No one's gonna ever know, but you made history today, Deputy Reeves. I'm home. Every part of me.
Bass Reeves was an extraordinary man who lived an extraordinary life at an extraordinary time in America's history. He was enslaved. He went on to fight in the Civil War. He escaped enslavement, went on to be a deputy marshal, and had a career that spanned nearly 40 years in law enforcement.
We have to have his story. I mean, our national story is incomplete without his story.
Who wouldn't want to get to know Bass Reeves? He was a real-life hero.
The first Black deputy U.S. Marshal.
The most successful lawman of the Old West.
A force in executing law and justice.
Bass Reeves.
Bass Reeves.
Bass Reeves.
Bass Reeves.
He was a legendary Western figure. It's kind of a miracle that we're getting to tell this story. And that's been a real joy.